Thanks everyone. My name is Krishna Upadhyayla. I want to give a little bit of introduction before we get into the running topics. So I work as a program manager, so that's my day job, which is usually mostly sitting for like 8 to 9 hours. I was never like into running a lot as a kid. My uncles used to even joke that I had to take a bike even to go to restroom. So I was that lazy. I probably anything more than 8 steps outside the house, we just take a bike wherever we want to go. Once I finished my master's, had a lot of time on hand, started running. Never ran more than like 5 miles. That was like the maximum I could think of before I kind of heard about AIMS. The first time someone told me about a marathon, I kind of just laughed out loud, say that he want to run for 26 miles as if you have nothing else to do. That was my first kind of like the reaction when I heard the word marathon and what it means for 26 miles and running on the road, like a person who has nothing else to do. And then like fast forward, like probably that was in 2006, 7, 10 years later, one of my neighbors talked me into doing a half marathon, and Baltimore was my first half marathon. And I still remember the day, the moment I finished the race, I sat having like 8 chips around me, tried to grab all the bars, all the fruits, and says, never ever I'm going to run more than 30.1. And anyone who wants to do double this distance is definitely crazy. And then I came back next year, did the same thing. And then in my mind, I was already able to simulate like what goes on in 30.1. So the following year I said like, hey, maybe half marathon is a little bit easier. So let me try to do the full marathon. And kind of the running bug hit after that. The first 2 years I was very disciplined, just doing one marathon per year, sticking to the schedule and everything. And 3 years later, happened by accident. Did a lot of running during COVID, but there was nothing else to do. So I was running like 4 times, 5 times a week instead of the usual 3 we get into. And then like after running like for a lot of miles, still stick to one marathon in that year. Like at start of 2021, we are in some common male groups, and I heard like a couple of my friends running the Seneca 50K, and that's my first foray into ultra marathon. And again, the same feeling, I would never ever run more than 26.2 was by feeling after I finished. And that promise lasted a whole 2 years, which is a lot, considering that I usually break promises in like 2 to 3 weeks. And then when I call like Arun and say that, hey, can I run? He said, absolutely. And my wife was more than happy to get me out of the house for 8 hours. So that was how I started getting into ultras or anything more than 26.2. And so Seneca 50K was kind of like a game changer for me, because that's when I thought that, hey, I can actually run more than 26.2 and more than 5 or 6 hours, right? So that's how my running journey progressed from a 5 miler to a half marathon to a marathon to an ultra. And then there were like many events like after that, which started doing crazier than the previous one. So I started with from 5 miles all the way to a 100 miler. And then like it ended with a multi-day run wherein we had to run like a marathon every day for 4 consecutive days. So that's about my running journey, but I still have my day job. I'm married, have 2 kids, still have to do all that stuff, which usually do. It is pretty to do all that stuff because you still have to be making sure that you play the family man part, because that's still important. But like did like a couple of very interesting races. One of them is called like the Rim to Rim to Rim in Arizona. Did a couple of 100 milers in like a Umstead National Park in North Carolina, wherein you run like person who doesn't have anything to do like for 12.5 miles like 8 times, still you are done. And then did a bunch of marathons. So this year would have been my record where I did like 11 marathons. So I'm pretty sure I might end up doing something to just call 12 marathons in a year by the end of the year, but don't let someone else know, in this third person from my lab know about that. But that's about my running journey. And
Like it's not you very love so what? But I get it. That's it. Okay, so thanks for everyone for questioning this. My name is Marin Dasami. I grew up in, there is a village back in India where, you don't even have a town buses for, maybe once in a while. So I grew up there. So yeah, I came to Chennai. From there, I got transferred to US. But until then, I never knew there is a long distance running, like half marathon, full marathon, or even 5K. I'd never give. I know there is a track they runs for what 400, 800 meters. That's all I heard, but I never knew there is a races exist like this. Even after coming to US, I never knew. It happened to me one day, like I was going to the shopping from my apartment to store, where I couldn't run for just 200 meters. I was casting so much, I couldn't walk. And then I came back to home and then told my wife, I couldn't even, just run for 200 meters. And then and the next day I went to office, and then I had colleagues, who ran little more workouts. I never knew he runs a marathon, but I told him that, hey, I couldn't run this much. Then he told me, yes, that's how it starts, but you can pick it up. So then he guided me for running. His name is Krishna. But this Krishna Matalabu, he was helping me to the progress of. First, he told me there is a race, half marathon, then there is a full marathon. So that's how I came to know there is a races exist. And I started, and then with me, I also grabbed at the time myself. There are 4 people joined with me, and then we practiced together for 2012 Frederick half marathon. That is my first half marathon. We practiced from February to April 1st Sunday is the race. And then we did all together, and then we finished, we celebrated. But again, at the time itself, my 13th mile, I was thinking, why I am doing this? Because I'm so gasping. I wanted to finish it. So, but luckily I finished it, and then that's where my running life started. And then until 2019, I was doing all my half marathons, either in Frederick, and one is in October in Baltimore, until I meet Nathan. Somehow Nathan came into my life in 2019. He introduced me into the Ames, where I met Coach Arun and Coach Krishna, everyone. And then that's where Coach Arun told me, boosted me that, you can run Baltimore full marathon. So that's my first full marathon I ran in 2019. And in between there is so I did some yoga also, between before that. That helped me a little more, because, that all those, the pains, everything is gone, because I am able to run, without pain free. So that's where my mantra, and then they helped me to, run my first marathon. And then immediately right after, and then Nathan told me, you can run, Ross even 50K, right? In the same year, I went there, where I met again around there, where he was trying to see for his 50 mile. So, it's all, I'm so blessed to be, around these books. And that's where my running life started. And then, as Krishna said, we celebrated, cherished so many moments until, even we did 100 miles together. I'm so proud of this folks to be around with me. That's about me, my running. Thank you. And Nathan, please.
All right, thanks, Muthu. Thank you, everyone. I am Chidambaranathan Duraisamy. Also, people know me as Coach Nathan. I'm an RRCA certified coach, and as well as a race director for a race called Run on the Rocks, and we conduct that in September. And by day job, like I'm a software solutions architect and studies software engineer for many years, and just like doing a desk job. And how I started running is in 2009, probably after coming to US and being just the job and work and all, just like anybody else, gaining weight and all, looking for something to active at all. And got to know about Ames at that point. AIMS is a charity organization who conducts training programs for beginning runners and friendly programs so that people can begin and do. So I got introduced with them, and then 2009, which I started kind of like slowly running from 1 mile to 2 mile to 3 mile like that. And then the plan was just do a half marathon or maybe a full marathon once, and then did that in 2009. That was my first a half marathon, and then 1 month later, the full marathon, the Marine Corps marathon that happens in Virginia and Washington, D.C. And I got a severe cramp that day, and I was thinking like maybe probably that's the only thing that I would do, and I wouldn't do it again. But luckily, coaches guided me that to keep doing with proper practice and all. At that time, you do a marathon, and then on winter time, just go and then take rest and do not do much thing, and then come back next year in May or June, start running again. And that's when you feel like, okay, I'm kind of like starting over all over again, because like you keep training and training until October, and later you kind of like suddenly lose everything, come back again. And then and we see some of the coaches run all over the year, then kind of like started running not just in summer, also in winter too. And that's how slowly started signing up for races in spring and between different times, so that you keep running with the help of other fellow runners and coaches, and my running with teammates. And that's where we met Coach Arun, who kind of suddenly brings up a crazy concept about some brand that out of the blue, that throws you out of the way. I thought marathon is the only thing that you can do at their running hall, and suddenly he talks about no, there is a 50K. Oh, there is a 50 miler. You do training runs for 20 miles. Just okay, that's even more than a marathon. Sometimes you do it for training runs, right? So all these things are kind of fascinated in a way, how much you can push. That's one question that even now I wonder, how much I can push myself, and then see where you can go without breaking yourself, right? So that is kind of something behind. I always think about it, and so that that to motivate. And so over the period of this time, I was just doing, I think I would say 50K. My first 50K was in 2018, I guess. So till then I was just doing marathon or half marathon, smaller runs. And then after running 50K, then it's kind of started doing ultras. And so I did the first 50 miler with Arun. He has done 50 miler before that, and then kind of guided us okay, this is how you do it, this kind of thing. Okay, then follow your footsteps, and then started doing the ultras. And so JFK 50 miler is the first one, and then COVID hit with then running, a lot of running stopped, but we kind of picked up with a lot of virtual running. We came up with different reasons to keep running. They call there's a race called Great Virtual Race Across Tennessee. Simply you run across Tennessee for no reason, and then you keep adding miles, and then finally they say, oh, you ran on the other side of the Tennessee, and then some people ran back to the Tennessee or whatever, right? And then circumpolar race around the world, which is kind of a very good team effort, that a group of 10 people keep running or walking and putting the running mileage, adding to the log, so that the entire team runs around the world. That kind of different reasons and things that we did, and helped me into running for ultras, which is a big milestone in my life, running the 100 miler. And I was able to do that with a lot of support from fellow runners and coaches in France. So I'm really grateful for that. From there, I was able to keep running and then doing other things with all the friends. So yeah, that's it. And that's
Nada. So I'll go next, I guess. So my name is Arun, and I've been running since 2006. That's when I did my first marathon. First, let me give you a little bit background about myself. I work in IT, so same desk job, just like anybody else who's in IT. Don't move around, mostly meetings all day long, just sit around for 8 hours, 9 hours, and then when you get up and walk around, it just, everything is all so tight, and you just go yearly to the doctor to see your numbers. It just keeps rising and rising, and nothing goes down. So we said, okay, you got to do something for my fam. I had 2 kids at that time. I have 2 kids now. So at that time, so I had to be there for them. So I said, okay, I have to take care of health. So I started running, and then I came across some other neck issues. So I stopped my running from 2006 to 2012, and then I started picking it up from 2012. One of the things that was happening in our community, or in a South Asian community that they call that, was we were seeing people in their 30s and 40s. They passed away, like 10, 15, 25 of them passed away in a year. And that was very touching for us. We wanted to make a difference. We tried to do this marathon training program to help others to get into a healthy lifestyle. And when we see these people who are having single income and having 2 kids, and what happens to the kids, right? That's it's like the family needs to be taken care of. So we started seriously training and then being a role model for others so that they can follow, right? It's like we are just ordinary Joes here and sitting and doing stuff that anybody else can do. So we wanted to make sure that we give a healthy lifestyle choice to others. And we started doing that. I became RSCA certified coach in 2016, I think. And then I'm part of the AIMS training program to train runners. That's kind of what we have been doing. And so, like, when we do this kind of stuff every year, we see people that they train throughout the summer, and then we see them the next year. We got to start back again from scratch again. So we said, okay, we should probably try to incorporate running in the winter where it's cold. We are all from warm temperature areas, so we tried to incorporate running in the winter, and started doing some races in the spring, and that kept us motivated and keep the running group engaged. So this is how we kept on moving. And then initially there was a different group that we were a bigger group and we were running with other people. Then once this team formed here, and the team is a lot more flicking, and we come up with a yearly way of celebration at the end of December. So 2 years ago, we did a race in Fikes Peak. That's the easternmost tallest mountain in the contiguous United States. We went there. I went there in 2017 with my son as a Boy Scouts. We just went there taking the guardrail. At that time, somebody told that there's a marathon that runs from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill and comes back down. I was so excited when I heard that. I said, I gotta do this. So, guess what? I was looking for somebody who will fall into the well with me. So I signed off with Krishna and Nathan, and we went and did that. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And then same kind of scenario where 2 years ago, we did every December now we have a celebration run. So 2 years ago, we did Grand Canyon from the South Rim to the North Rim, and then came back to the South Rim. And then last year we did in the Appalachian Trail, we went from Pennsylvania all the way to Virginia across 4 states. And this year was the 4 marathons in 4 days in the Four Corners. So that's our way of celebrating the year. So that's my brief intro. So
Okay, so after the intro, want to talk a little bit about one of the races. So we do like these crazy races. People might call it celebratory races, but it's actually crazy races at the end of like the year. And mostly these races are to kind of bring us back to ground, saying that, oh, okay, whatever you did till the year, we are on a high that we did so many marathons or so much, but the end of the year races are always kicking out behind. So one of those races was what we call the rim, from the South Rim to the North Rim and back to the North Rim in Arizona Grand Canyon. Runners know it as like R to R to R. It's kind of a very challenging race because you go from like a varying degree of temperatures. So you go from 20 degrees all the way to 60 degrees and all the way to like 20 degrees and come back to 60 and whatever like the nature has to offer in between. And then we were like very in high spirits because we did like Pikes Peak Marathon. I did like couple of ultras. I did a 50 miler. So we were like very high that year. And then like we were like had all the calculations figured, like how many pictures to take and everything. And then by the time we went to the North Rim, we were pretty much done. Right at that point of time, we said that, hey, there's no way we can continue back. We were planning to be there by like 12 o'clock. It was already 3 o'clock. So we had no options. So we said like, let's call it quit and go back from here by car or something. So like there was absolutely no one because the North Rim is closed during that time of the year, which is the early December. Luckily, we found a lady and she said like, you have two options. Either take a helicopter, which we still are not rich. Maybe this video will make us. Or like do the same thing, turn back and do the same thing what you did, right? So at that point of time, we had to make a decision, either freeze to death on North Rim or keep walking to South Rim. So at that point is when we realized that, oh yeah, we have to train a lot. We are still not there. Still there is a lot to be covered. Kind of an eye-opener when you feel that, hey, you achieved everything in running and it kind of back us brought to the ground. And we started like our journey back. And then when it was snowy, slippery, slowly started getting back. And by the time we got to the Phantom Ranch, it's called in the Grand Canyon, which is like the halfway point between like the North Rim and South Rim, we were okay. That's also kind of the first time where I was running in the night, using the term running very loosely there, but we are mostly hiking and walking. And that's the first time like my longest run at that point of time, which is like around 27 hours. And then like, again, it was very scary, middle of the mountains. No one can hardly hear us do anything, but that's kind of where it all started, wherein we figured out that, hey, we can do a multi-day run. It's small 2 days, more than 20 hours. It kind of the start of many things. And that was our first start into doing something crazy in December. That was the first time we all did, 4 of us did together, and then it continued from there. But that's the it all started.
It turned that elevation that we did. So
I want to add one thing that, where we took a break at the Phantom Ranch, like for a 1 hour or something. Prior to coming over there, basically we didn't have any food, right? And the ranger into North Rim called the Phantom Ranch ranger, hey, there is a bunch of people who knew that North Rim is closed, but, empty on food. They did some light savvy, either a vest or some jacket or something. No, so they offered us hot water and the cup noodle. They put it on the in front of their porch, and as they went for sleep. So when we came, the hot water was there, and then the cup noodle, we just had the cup noodle and then took a rest for an hour. And then after that, we started from there, and one person was like started walking like very funny way, and I thought like you will make it to the South Rim if you walk that way. I said like, guy, stop. If you're walking this road, we're not going to the South or South Rim many times, so let me fix you, okay? Then we had to stop, and then like we did some stretches before we start the climb up the South Rim. And we glad we will make it. We made it like around the early morning time, right?
I want to emphasize one thing right here. So the North Rim, the moment we get into North Rim, we thought there is no snow. Maybe it's cold, but we saw the foot of snow there, where only the rangers can be stay there. It's very you cannot stay there more than an hour without any the gears, right? It's so cold out there. So it was wonderful moment there. But again, yes, it's a kind of like decision that we is very funny there.
Somebody still believes that we can get a ride, right? If somebody can drop you at the outside of the North Rim, and then I can catch a cab from North Rim to South Rim, like a 5-hour Uber. Like I can get a guest drive. Anyway, dude, we learned a lot. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so that is our room to room adventure. But again, maybe I want to talk about my 100-mile race adventure. It's not a 100-mile I signed up for because I know these two racing coaches, they signed for 100-miler. I'm not eligible. I never ran. I never ran a official 50 miler. So they will just offer only 50 miler registration only for me, because they won't allow me to register for 100 miler. But still, I registered 50 miler, and then I went there, and then I started with those. Nathan keep asking me, what is your plan? What is your plan for the race to complete, right? So I said, I'm going to run only 50 miles. I'm going to run only 50 miles. That's it. But internally, I knew I wanted to try. Okay. So I started, the race with them. For my first 100 miler, I started with them. Again, the funny story, maybe you covered. Well, we are going for preparing that 100 mile. When there is a travel hours of 4 to 5 hours from our home to North Carolina. So there are funny things happens there in the band. So they will talk. I don't want to talk. Again, yeah. So race started as prepared, as scheduled, and then I started about my 50 mile. And then after completing basically as I just said, it's a 12.5 mile loop. It's 8 loop that we need to complete for 100 miles. So I ran my first 4 loops within that 6, 12 hours, I think. And then I went to the race director and asked, can I do one more loop? And then, if you are, why not? If you are strong enough, please go for it. Then at least I wanted to finish 100K. I don't want to do the 100 mile, at least 100K I wanted to. So then I went for one more loop. And then again I came and then I asked, what's your plan? So, can I do one more loop? Really? It's okay. Then he allowed me, and then I went for the race director, and then I asked it again. Go for it. He never said no, okay? So I went for one more time, and then I completed my 6th loop. And then that's only, 26 ways I do for loop, right? That's it. And then, I can walk. It took 100 miles. So then I did that with the 26 hours or 27 hours, I think. And then I got my first 100 miles. That's still, the race director calls me, and then you are the one, you registered for 100 miles and then did the 50 miles, and then you did the 100 miles. So still he remembers. And then next year I went there, I did the same 100 miler. I wanted to get it under 24 hours. So we did that. I think it's 22 hours and 47 minutes. So that is my individual race, or the one which I study spot. Everybody could be, you on the 150 mile and become 100 milers. So thank you. I wanted to hand it over to Laban for his adventure.
Yeah, there are many races that I kind of wanted to talk, but not to take too long. But one race that I would say kind of changed my whole perspective of the ultras, because that's kind of the 100 mile race that I will talk about, which is it's called the Seattle Canal 100. It happens very near to the Brunswick area, and it happens almost the entire race happens on the Chesapeake, Ohio Canal towpath area. And it's a very low-key race, around 200-250 runners conduct. But why it is very important for me, that race, is that it happened right after COVID, and I only did 50K at 50 milers prior to COVID, and I was running stopped, no races were happening, and we were only running virtually, right? So at that time, while I was running on trail running, because trail running was kind of at that time was kind of more safer compared to other running, because you were running in the woods, right? And one runner signed up, was told about that they signed up for the Sinua 100. I said okay, I'll see if I can also run with you and then train with you, so that I can see if I can run. So that's how it started, and I was able to train. And part of the training, I learned a lot about new things about how you have to prepare for a run like that, because prior to that everything starts in the day and then ends in the afternoon, done, right? But this one goes more than a day sometimes, goes overnight and then happens. So even the training runs are night runs, you sign up for a night a 50K. We went in sometime somewhere in Virginia and then signed up for a night ride where it started from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sorry, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And we had to train for it, and that's a training runs. And at that time, like all you are doing is like most of long runs are like either a marathon or like longer than a marathon, but we still call it as a training run for some reason, you know. And luckily we had our friends, fellow coaches, you know, to run with us and motivate us also. And also during that time, luckily we had that the circumpolar race around the world, which kind of like as a team we were pushing each other to run more miles, run or walk or bike for that particular series. So we were kind of like using that as an opportunity to train for the race. And during the race also, the race is kind of like, you know, multiple laps, like 3 laps. And I needed support in a way, like, you know, people who come and help with, you know, arranging your stuff or like, you know, picking up your my gears and keeping them ready for the next lap and all. So luckily I had Coach Arun and Coach Sada, and a couple of other runners joined as well for crewing me, and I was able to complete. And why that's very important for me was that, like, you know, I was able to complete my first 100, and I would say that, you know, at least I was kind of like, you know, say that, okay, show that it is possible with support and training. It is kind of possible, so that like anyone can do it, right? So I was happy that I was able to do it, and also kind of like, you know, set an example that can be done. I'm glad that we have few others as kind of joined the 100-mile club as well. So that's my nice ways that I would talk.
Hey, sir. It was important in 2 ways, right? Like people call it glass breaking, right? Like until then, like we could only think about 50 miles, right? So doubling 50 miles is like, so yes, in our group, it was the first 100-miler, right? So the thought could enter our brain that you can do 100-miler only after like Nathan did it. Because before that, it was like the line was down at 50 miles, right? So it's not like, oh yeah, it's only double it, right? It's not like, oh, take 5 miles or do 10 miles, right? So it's important not only for Nathan, but like for our whole group, because that was like the class barrier he broke, which now like the thought only entered like for me or Muthu or like Arun only after he finished it, right? Because I'm like, yeah, maybe it's possible. I'm not saying it's easy, but at least that you can think that, oh, okay, the logistics, whatever goes into in the training, all is like kind of the path is laid. You still have to walk, but at least you know that, hey, someone walked the path, so it's not dangerous and you are still alive.
So a couple of things of note there was we got a pacer for Nathan. His name is Sai. He's not with us anymore. He has never run a marathon before. He ran 30 miles with Nathan to help him complete this 100-miler. That was very significant for us. The other thing was the mental strength that somebody has. You see that firsthand. I get the privilege of seeing all their mental strength firsthand because I crew them or I am around them at that time when they go through all these things, right? It was pouring down rain at 2 a.m. He has finished 70 miles at that time, and he has to completely come and change his clothes. There's not real shelter there to really change your clothes, right? So he changed his clothes. The moment he changes it, it's wet again. But he changes his clothes and then goes back out there for 30 more miles. Those things are just amazing. You got to be next to that person to feel that vibe, to see that. That is amazing feeling. So good. Congratulations on your 100.
Yeah, but that is a mental image I bring whenever the going get hard. I mean, that's what I picture, right? Like, you finish 70 miles, you know that's more than anyone ever, ran, and it's pouring down the rain. No one would point you or like blame you for quitting it, because everyone will still give you all that applause and roses later to feel that you ran 70 miles, but you still have that guarantee to take, change your clothes and get out there, right? And if that is a picture I always imagine whenever going to get stuck, I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, just imagine like person running 70 miles, pouring down the rain, he has to go out for 30 more miles. What do you after running for more than like 21 hours, right? So if that mental picture cannot motivate you, I'm not sure what will.
Yeah, okay. So I like to talk about a personal race that touched me a lot. That is Pikes Peak. The first time that I went there, like I said, with my son in the Boy Scout trip, I really loved the mountain. It was just amazing. First time I've been up on a 14er. The Pikes Peak is 14,115 feet high. So they call those mountains 14ers. We took the guardrail. That's the second highest guardrail in the world. So we took the guardrail the first time I went there in 2017. At that time, they were saying the bottom of the foothill of that Pikes Peak is a town called Manitou Springs, and there's a race from Manitou Springs all the way up to the top of the mountain and comes back down. And I was like so excited. Oh, how cool that be just to run up the mountain and run down the mountain. At that point of time, I was very good at running down the hills. Sometimes I fall, but sometimes, most of the time, I don't. So I really like that idea of 13.1 mile downhill run for just however long. It was just awesome to hear. So I said, okay, mental note, I'm going to run this thing no matter what, right? So there was this 1 year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever we did it, 2022. That time it fell on my mother's birthday. So I said, okay, let me use this as a reason to dedicate to my mother. Let me go and run this race. So I called Krishna and Nanan, go like, hey, this race opens up and closes very fast. You got to sign up right away. So all these people signed up. So I was like, okay, now we got something going. So we all go there. We just settle down. We are all very happy to be there. The temperatures are nice. We go see sightseeing and everything is nice. We come back home to get prepared for the next day race, right? Actually, we went to pick up our babe. And pick up, they said, oh, you guys are crazy to do this race. We were kind of puzzled why these people are calling us crazy. So we come back home and then one of our fellow runners, he posted a picture of Pikes Peak and said that this is the second toughest race in the world. I got everybody, what is this? Why are they saying that? So we all get kind of nervous. We don't talk to each other for some time. We gotta go turn, but we gotta get prepared for the race. So we get prepared for the race, right? Then I find out that I didn't bring one of my critical attire that Krishna is wearing over that. We love our Houdini jackets and we couldn't have that. So I took Nathan's Houdini jacket and then I thought, okay, I'm prepared for this race right now. So the race is just a really tough race. So we go up to like 10,000 feet. That's about 10 miles in. And from that point on, it's 4,000 feet high for 3 miles. And that place, it's very less oxygen. So I was taking like 2 steps forward and then I had to hold on to a rock and breathe very heavily. I thought this was the toughest thing I ever did. And then once we went up, me and Nanan were thinking we didn't make the halfway mark time limit, but the race director said, oh, no, you made the time limit, you can still go down. And then everybody started running down. At that time, I had some confidence, saying, okay, running down, I should be able to do it. But still, the top of the mountain running down was really hard with less oxygen. So I was really lagging behind. And then the mile markers were off. So I was trying to calculate what pace I got to be running in for me to be able to keep the speed. And all my downhill running was not working out great because there's a lot of switchbacks. So each switchback, if you don't stop properly, it's a cliff. So you got to stop, and there are some places there is some wooden columns you just catch over to turn yourself around, but some places there is nothing. So you got to really be careful, and then you kept going. So I keep going, and then finally, like 1 mile, there is this road stretch. Oh my God! I felt great. It's like I was just flying around there, right? I see this one runner before me. That is in the ultra running world. There's a caveat saying that, hey, finishing dead last is a great honor. Okay. So I go like, okay, this guy in front of me, there are multiple waves. Will he be able to finish it? Which wave was he in? Is he still ever capable of finishing? I have no clue. So I'm guessing. I go like, no, let's not take this risk. So let us just go all out. So I just go all out and pass him and finish the race. I see Krishna and Nathan, like I could clearly see the joy in their face when I finished. I go like, nobody's ever felt so much joy when I finished the race. Once I finished the race, the first thing I ever said was, this is the toughest thing I ever done. Because so satisfying to do that race and still complete the race. And completed within the time limit and get the medal. That was just an amazing feeling for me. And thanks for let me for that. For the note, they left me alone. Still, I want to take the revenge for.
We like two things about this race. I feel so happy because Muthu didn't do it. Always rub it in. Say that, oh yeah, you are not there and you didn't do that. It's side up for us. And the second thing is like, you were so joyful because they're like, you finished the race. And now if you did not, we don't know whether to celebrate or not, right? We want to, but we can't. So it was more like, okay, we want to celebrate. So if he finishes, it will be easier. So
Like, actually, you saved us also. But I was like, you wouldn't have because the sock case. Because I was like, hey, I don't see it. That's it. Okay, this year now. Okay, I don't see it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Keep it. Say it. But yeah, you finished like, 90 seconds to spare. That is the important thing, right? Like, because it's a 10-hour time limit to finish the entire race. It's easy to think like, when you're on a road, but when you're the elevation that he is talking about with less oxygen and all, 6.5 hours is the cutoff they give to go up the 13 miles. We couldn't make it. We thought like we are done. Me and Arun, when we got there, we lost the cutoff by a few minutes. That's what we thought. And then the course marshal there said that, hey, you made it. You still have like 7 minutes or 5 minutes. If you can leave right now, you have 7 minutes to spare to the cutoff. Like we thought we didn't make it, so we'll take the concrete. We can have like go for it, but it's gonna like do it. But yeah, glad that we are able to make it and finally celebrate together. Yeah, thanks.
That's awesome.
okay, so we usually have this way of doing something crazy in December. And usually it gets triggered somewhere in like April or May so that we can start the planning. Somewhere down the line in like April, May, I put a message saying that, hey, this is something called Quad Keyah marathon, which is like 4 marathons, 4 states, 4 days. And my comment was like, wow, interesting and intimidating, right? Usually no clue where this happened, what this happened, right? Me and Muthu just follow whatever like Nathan or Arun's bucket list, and that's how our buckets get filled because we don't even have a bucket to think about what we need to do. All I was thinking is like, okay, I'll get 4 marathons and 4 medals. And that's what my interest was. I mean, the thought process was the end result, but not the journey through it. And I was like, Nathan was like, and Arun was like, oh, it's not my idea. It was like Nathan who actually came up with this. And I was like, okay, where did you hear about this?
Yeah. I want to talk about that, like, how I got to know about it, because what was I doing at that time when I heard this thing? Because it is 2019 when I was doing the UROC 50K and the mountains of Virginia, and one fellow runner who was running with me said that, hey, I have a race next weekend, I have to go. It's a 100-miler. 100-miler itself is a tough thing that imagine at that time I was just doing my second 50K at that time, and he talks about 100-miler. Oh, okay. Then he said, no, we have to do it in 4 days. Like, what do you mean by 4 days? He's like, yeah, you run a marathon, you go back and come back next day, you run a marathon again. So 4 marathon and 4 states, and there is a place called it's called the Four Corners Monument, where the 4 states like Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico is kind of intersect like in right angle, and the race kind of starts in one state each day. So, and he said, oh, okay, interesting, and never thought like I would even try that, because like it's only 50K that I was running, and I think at that time Muthu hasn't even started running marathons, and not a lot of people like crossed even 50K mark to 15-miler at that time. Like, yeah, it's okay, leave it. So I think in January me and Arun were running on the Shenandoah Mountains, MMT, wondering like, why the hell are we doing here? Why are we running like mindlessly in the mountains of Shenandoah? And then suddenly I said, you know what, Arun, like, what are we doing for December? There should be something. Hey, I remember, one guy told 5 years ago about this race. What do you think about it? And then I thought like just a saying, and then left it. It's not serious. And then he went back and then he researched about it. Hey, this is the race, this is the link, and then he posted it. Is it what you're talking about? It's like, oh my God, it's getting serious. I should have not told. Okay. And this case is interesting and intimidating. Okay. So one guy puts the kind of a bait, and then this is the planner guy, kind of like, gets the executor like, oh, we can book a room, we can book this thing, that thing, and that's it, done. And like, okay, no turning back after this. Now you have to be ready for this.
By the time we even could make a decision, the air tickets, we knew what cost of the air ticket was going to be, what the cost for the Airbnb is going to be, where the cost for everything is going to be.
No wonder why you named him Spreadsheet Ninja. He's the Spreadsheet Ninja.
And we also gave a backstory story, right? Because this is not like usually we go for 1 day, 2 days, maximum was 3 days, right? And even when we went to the rim, me and Muthu went for a training and then followed it with that. So I was telling that, hey, the way we kind of convince at home is saying that, hey, Muthu's birthday is on February 29th. And this is a leap year, so we get to celebrate his birthday only once in 4 years. What better way to celebrate than running 4 marathons? So we kind of like, hey, this is a story you can tell if you get a pushback. Not if you get it, but I'm like, have the story ready so that you have all your ducks aligned, so that when the push comes to shove, you have everything ready, saying that.
I'm just telling this on camera.
Now it's done. So we were like, okay, the story will be not for me, it's for Muthu. Like, and Muthu is like, hey, if everyone is doing for me, I think I should be part of that because they're celebrating my birthday, right? So that was the story.
Who will run the 4 marathons for birthday, right? That is too crazy.
I know, Muthu.
That's how it's started.
And then, like, usually the moment, like, Arun and Nathan really don't worry about money too much, so they are like the case. They are like, Arun always calls it sunk cost. I'm like, yeah, before it gets sunk, I have to put my money there. So I'm like, you know what? The moment we plan any races, I go ahead and look for like, okay, what is the cheapest option? And then I have to make sure that like it kind of conveys the comfortable and it's very okay for Nathan because he's kind of the upper threshold. Now Muthu is the lower threshold. As long as we fall in between these two, and then I kind of look for the price. So I'm like, hey, this is the Airbnb, and I put a link, and everyone is like, puts a thumbs up. No one looks at it. I put the airline tickets, and I'm booking it. Everyone puts a thumbs up. No one looks at it. And like at this point of time, I know their first name, last name, date of birth. So I go ahead and put everything. And like just before like 2 or 3 weeks, or like maybe a month before, Nathan is like, when are we going? And he's like, we're going for a whole week. I'm like, off on Tuesday and the following Tuesday. And I'm like, yes, I sent you all the details. And Muthu is like, yes, he sent the flight tickets and everything. And he's like, where are we staying? And I'm like, I sent the Airbnb details. He's like, how many bedrooms does he have? I'm like, okay, what did I send you and what did you guys kind of thumbs up for? I'm like, they are like, okay, the thumbs up for whatever I put. And they were only getting the details of the flight tickets, the Airbnb, the car, everything.
Just the day before.
Yeah, it's like almost like a week before. They were too much worried about packing for a whole week, but they're not worried about how we are flying, where we are staying, how we are going from like place A to place B. And I was like, you know, right, we actually get down in Phoenix, Arizona, and we have to drive 6 hours. And Nathan is like, we're driving 7 hours. Yes, I'm like, because the Airbnb is in like the other side of the Arizona and we are landing in the middle of the Arizona. He's like, huh. I'm like, okay. That was like a lot of information I gave you which no one looked at. So next time I probably should make sure that I ask some questions or put a quiz there.
I mean, there is a reason like why we don't ask too many questions or try to argue with you because you cannot win. I had that kind of an opportunity to, not an opportunity, kind of what we say like, it's a hell discussion.
An enlightenment.
What is a very, very fierce discussion. Like one time when we were doing the rim to rim in the middle of a night, we just shouting like hell between like me and him, and this guy is in front of like what's happening. I hope they're going to fight each other in the middle of the night somewhere. And then the upstairs under also like me and him, he was just talking and doing all the math for like 80 miles, and my ears are like paining, and then like, man, this guy needs more calories to talk than running. Like that, how can he still do the math at the 17th mile? I'm kind of like thinking like, how can I get to the next aid station? That's all I even think. He's like, oh, if you can do that section like this section like this, in doing all this math, and say like, okay, now after that, whatever he puts like, oh, this is what the math done. Okay, done. Simple, right? It's saving energy.
So we started the planning, and then the biggest challenge was like getting the gear ready for a whole week, right?
Yeah.
And usually we have race day or 2, right? But this is like a unique challenge wherein we had to plan for 4 days, and then we don't know if we could wash or not wash, right? So it's like we have to have a multi-layer plan, like will it be cold, will it be hot, will it be somewhere in between, can we change? So there was a lot of planning going.
Actually, we did not know anything about the place, how cold it's going to be, how warm it's going to be, how each terrain is going to be. They just say very little information about the rest out there. It is just some say it's trail, some say it's road. We were totally confused. And finally, I went to the Facebook page. I saw some information. I got to know somebody's friend who ran the race. And then we got in touch with that person, and then he finally gave us some information that we could use. The information he gave was, it's very cold, it's piercing wind, it goes through your clothes, you got to be prepared for cold.
And then you'll be running in somewhere in the mountains.
So we were, cold is a problem for me. So I wore packed for cold. But in the last minute, Krishna and Muthu and Nathan are looking at the AccuWeather and they go like, man, it's going to be hot. It's going to be in the 50s. It's going to be in the 40s. Because 40s and 50s, we always go with shorts. So we go like, okay, for the last ditch effort, we just put some more shorts and short sleeves in there. And then I go like, okay, I don't have place to put all these things in. Krishna, we need to get more luggage.
So the initial plan was saying that, hey, we'll check in only 2 luggages because we still have to pay money for that. And I don't know, like it will not be enough. No, we'll adjust. And then we got a bonus saying that, hey, you can actually take in a cabin luggage. He said that will be more than enough. But after all this, and once the weather starts changing, even though we figured out it will not be cold, we did not take out anything out the cold, but we want to add the hot weather gear. For a reason I don't still know yet why we could not take that out. So we were like, okay, and then he comes to my house at like 10 o'clock in the night and says that this is all I have. And I'm like, I'm still thinking how I can avoid paying $40. And I just did, right? And he closes the door and my wife is like, take the 3rd luggage. And we are sleeping, take the 3rd luggage. I immediately called Arun and said, we are taking 3rd luggage. And I called Muthu and said, bring whatever you want because we are getting the 3rd luggage. And Muthu is like, why? I'm like, yeah, why is a long discussion, but...
Yeah, because I was packed all of them in my just cabin luggage. I don't have anything extra. I will be having the additional one that laptop bag. That's all I have. So we dumped everything, and then again I got some little more, and then I put it in Krishna's luggage with Arun's. That was, that relieved me so much stress because I was so stressed because these 2 folks are taking the full luggage. I was worried I was just having only this much. Usually they will underestimate me and then I say, no, this guy will come this way and then will bother everybody. I don't want to do that, but I was literally stressed myself. But my wife is telling me, why you are tension more than running? This is because of this. I like go with them for running for any distance. I hate the previous day night with their preparing for that, flat me. They will flat me. That is so tense moment for me in that series. Any race if I go with them, I hate that 30 minutes.
We're just making sure that you have enough thing, and then we also have now take our slot.
I'm just saying, but
they have that experience. So Muthu was stressed because he was like, are they overpacking, are we underpacking? And I had to walk him through it. He's like, see, you have pants. He's like, yes. You have base layer. He's like, yes. You have outer layer. He's like, yes. You have outer layer. Yes. So he's like, what else is there? I don't know.
Five times.
He's like, how come everything of ours is fitting into a cabin luggage, and how come they are still fighting for saying that they're stored? Like a 50-pound bag is not enough, plus a 20-pound bag, plus a backpack. I'm like, can't answer that question, but I can answer what you have is good enough, right? He was still
like, of clothes, we do have all the foods, gels, recovery, everything which with me within the same cabin luggage. I was wondered how come it is having more than those many luggages.
Yeah,
I called so many times Krishna that he walked me every time. He calls me and checklist. You have this, couldn't need that, this. Yes, I have. Then you're fine. Really? I'm fine. You will save me. That's how it started.
So the next part was when we had to do the packing, we had to pack for all the gels that we have to take from here. We cannot. This is in the middle of nowhere where we cannot find an REI or anything like that to go and find the gels that we want to find, right? So we have to exactly pack. So we all talk to each other. You don't want anything more, right? I'm just packing this much alone because this is all I am going to take. Because this takes 50 pounds for me. So making sure that, okay, I pack exactly for that. That is nothing more, nothing less. It's like we have to do everything like that. So that's exactly how we packed when we went there.
And the second important thing was like food planning, right? Like during the race, we know that we get the gels and everything. Usually we run for a day or something and then we come back and then there is food at home or like friends or anyone, right? So now we will go back to a place where there are no restaurants, and usually we don't encourage eating outside in an unknown place when you have to run a marathon because you don't know what trouble your tummy might get into. So we were like, I was like planning for the food, right? I'm like, we'll eat pasta on day 1, rice, vegetable rice on day 2, pasta again on day 3, and then vegetable rice. And Arun is like, I can eat anything. And I'm like, Nathan, what about you? I'm like, and the question is like, Nathan asks is like, will we be able to cook once we come back from a marathon, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we should, because there is no other option, right? So, and then like, we went from here, we landed in Arizona, and then we went to Trader Joe's, Patel Brothers, and Costco. And Arun was like so kind of frustrated or scared that we were buying so much food. He said like, I'm not going to come into Patel Brothers anymore. I'm not going to come into Costco anymore, right? When we finished Trader Joe's shopping, luckily the car rental guy upgraded from a SUV to minivan. It was up to the brim, right? There was no place. And he's like, you want to go to 2 more places? I'm like, we have to, right? I'm like, I have to go to Patel Brothers to buy rice, and then we have to go to Costco to buy water, right?
So we're like pushing like, okay, I need to get the bagel only from the Costco, because the Costco bagel. Like, come on, man, that's okay for Virginia, not like in Arizona. You know, like water is in Costco. Like Trader Joe's also sells water. Every store sells water. Like what's up with only Costco?
So the water in Costco is $11 and Trader Joe's is $24. So there is a math behind that, right? I'm like, why am I spending $15 more for the same water? So I was like making a list of things you need to get from Costco. I said coconut water. It's like, yeah, same thing. Coconut water is like $12 in Costco versus 24. So, and I feel like it's exactly on the way to our place. So they are like, it's just right there, sitting there.
And a stop. So also the other thing was we had to stop in your friend's house to get the
Rice cooker.
Yeah. So we go stop, get the cooker. On the way out, we see this orange tree. Somebody has to stop. Yeah, somebody has to stop to get the oranges from the orange trees. So
Yeah, of course. I never saw any, but at least that you guys went to we saw there say walnuts on the side. But I was like, okay, and then oranges. Yeah, there is oranges on the sidewalk, please. Can you stop it?
Yeah, there was a tree on the road with the oranges like full of it, right? No one was caring. So Nathan gets out and he starts plucking, and I'm like, yeah, we have space. Yes, Arun is like, yeah, we have space, but no time. I'm like,
I just started jumping in. No, I just wanted to get it out fast so we can go. We had a 6-hour
I'm
drive.
like, that one, this one. He's like, okay, you're sitting in the car and pointing me when I'm jumping. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, here I'm sitting. So finally we made it to the Airbnb. The drive was a little bit hectic. Arun kind of took all over the drive. I was awake till like almost like the last 10 minutes. Nathan and Muthu were going in and out. So I was like, and then she and the Airbnb hostess was very good. She told us how we will drive to the wrong place and how to get back to the correct place. And like every good driver, we did the same thing. We went to the wrong place, came back. And the house was good because we had 2 options. One was a 3-bedroom, like a wooden resort, and the other one was like a 4-bedroom. Arun was like, no, let's get the 4 bedrooms. We have to spend almost 6 days, so it's better to have your own room than try to share your room with someone and kill them. So we were like, okay, it's a 4-bedroom house. It was like pretty decent. It has pretty much everything we need.
Except the farm dog was like keep on barking.
Oh, yeah.
Like the first day we went like around 2 a.m. I think. I mean for Eastern time that's like almost like 4
2 a.m., yeah.
type of thing. We went 2 a.m. and then we went to sleep. It was pitch quiet because like it's the middle of a farm. Right next to it's a cattle, right? Like everything was there, and then like the dog starts barking, like non-stop, you know. And we were like next to the window.
Some strangers are
It was saying welcome, Nathan, welcome Arun so many times. It did not respond, so it kept on saying welcome. Me and Muthu were okay because we said welcome, hi, and then it went quiet.
Yeah, I mean, because we went at the night time, we didn't even look around like, you know, what's around there and all, like you just only think like we're in the middle of somewhere, you know.
Yeah. And then we kind of settled out. Like, I mean, the biggest thing we wanted to plan was like 4 things which we did was breakfast, race day food, comeback food, and stretching, right? So everything was like, we executed like a clock, but like, first it started with like, we woke up next day and then we are like, hey, we have a whole day, now what, right? Like, we did not want to get tired, but we still want to explore some places. So Arun looked at it and said that, hey, there is a national park, Mesa Verde National Park.
Mesa Verde.
Verde. So he's like, we want to go there, right? So now the question is like, should we go back and come eat lunch, or we want to eat lunch and go back, right? So everywhere it's a decision. We said like, we'll go back, first go visit and come back so we can have lunch peacefully, right? But by the time we all get ready and everything, it was 11:30. We are like, maybe we'll stay half an hour more, eat lunch and go back.
Yeah.
Right? So we had like some chapatis, courtesy of Patel Brothers.
And then like I made like some potato curry, and I made onion tomato potato curry, and then Nathan is like, I want curry without onions. It's called onion curry, so I'm not sure how you can make onion curry without onions.
This is the first time I hear like onion curry. Right? When you put onion in the curry, you don't make curry with an onion. Right?
Yeah, so I'm
Onion. They're like, what are you?
And being the master chef, I separated some potatoes, fried and saying these potato fried. Yeah, this is so good. I'm like, okay, that works. And then like we had lunch and then we went to the park. And then like got a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
And we were all like nervous.
Yeah.
And then like the good thing we nailed out the routine is what we need to eat the day before the race. It's always pasta.
Yep.
Pasta with tomato sauce, right? And Muthu says he doesn't like pasta with tomato sauce, but we kind of are slowly beating it into him. And then like we ate pasta, and then as usual, as Muthu said, the routine started on what to wear the next day. And you
What to eat during the race, I'm saying.
Preparing our water bottles and everything, because we did not know where the drop bag is going to be, so we were all very nervous. So we made the decision of just keeping the car as a drop bag area. So Muthu and Krishna were like, oh yeah, no, we'll take a Trader Joe's bag.
The next thing.
Yes.
We don't know. It's cold or it will be warm. We don't know.
Yeah, they told the heated tent, but unfortunately it's an open area where they have a fire pit. That's our heated tent. But it is luckily we didn't pack it in the Trader Joe. We put it in the plastic cover with the race cover, where a little bit it's warm, and then it didn't get wet though.
So I think like Arun and Nathan were discussing whether to take a Patagonia bag or a Tracksmith bag. And then me and Muthu were like, should we take a Food Lion bag or a Trader Joe bag? And a Trader Joe bag has the ease of like picking up everything at the same time, but like Food Lion bag is like rainproof, right? Because it's plastic. So we decided to go with like Food Lion bag, but luckily they gave us the bag at the entrance for the babe. And then again, that was a surprise, right? Like I and like Arun and Nathan know that like, hey, we can pick the bib on the race day. But like Muthu was so prepared for the race, he did not even know when to get the bib.
Yes, exactly.
We only get it on the race day. It's like, yeah, come on, like, that's what the race director says, so we don't have to go.
I thought during the previous day we will just go there and then get the bib and then go to the national park.
That's what happens with all the races.
Yeah, usually that's how the routine is. But these guys are directly going to the national park, and then when we are going to pick up the bib, let's go first there. So then they clarified me, luckily. So yeah.
So the first day the race was in Arizona. We started in Arizona, and it was like a 5.25 mile loop. So it was like 5 times you got to do that. And this 5.25 mile loop, it just goes up and up and up for 300 feet and then comes back down. So we the first time we go around, it was fun. We figured out where the car was, where we got to stop, how we got to change and everything like that. So Nathan and I, each and every time we come to the car, we change everything. It took us a long time, yes, but we had fun. We just kept going together. And Muthu and Krishna was trying to chase Muthu for a few seconds, and after that Muthu was gone.
Yeah. Okay. Initially the plan is, we four need to stick together, and then.
Did you tell that yourself, or you're trying?
That's what happened with us. He says like, trying to run together.
When you say stick, don't advertise for the glue because they did a very bad rep. Because we never stick together when it's running.
Bad brand, stick.
Yeah, for glue stick. So the race started, we were like, okay, let's get the starting picture. And then I'm like, okay. And then Muthu said we'll run together. I'm like, for how many seconds? And he said like 30. I'm like, wow, today is like something special. We're running for 30 seconds. Usually it's like 3 to 5. So 30 was like a big number. And then we all started, right? So as Arun said, like for the first two, and they did it very nicely. It's like exactly 2.6 miles all the way up. And then we come back together. So usually the first round we say like, oh, this is not bad. And the second round we like, oh, this is hard. The third round we like, man, this is hard. And fourth round, who the hell planned this? And the fifth round is like, we should kill the guy who actually voted for this, right? So that's kind of the mindset we have like whenever we do a race. But what's unique about this race is usually we tell everyone, because all our coaches saying that, hey, get to the start line, you will be done.
Yeah.
But the challenge with this race is get to the start line, get to the finish line, nothing is done. Because it's only day one, right? So like we did not have like the happiness as we finished something, right? We are pretending fake smiles because everyone is thinking about like how would I react like the next day? What will happen on the third day? Can I even stand on the fourth day, right? So we were all like talking to each other saying that, hey, let's take it slow, let's take it slow. But I'm like, this is uncharted territories because even though like we did 100 mile or 100K, it's like, it's a continuous race, right? So you get on to that, you just get on with the emotions and then ups and downs of the race and you are done, right? You start, you finish. But this is a unique race and a unique challenge, like mentally, because even though you run 26 miles, means nothing for the next day, because again at mile 0. Again nothing for the next day, and again nothing for the next day, right? So that is something which we could not talk out each other, right? And I was trying to kind of poke around and Nathan saying that, hey, how is this different from when you are running like MMT 100, wherein you ran for 6 hours, take a 3-hour break and then run, right? Don't you think that will be easier than trying to run continuously? And I was like, no, it's different. I'm like, yeah, I know it's different, but I want you to kind of say that it's easier so that it will be easier for me.
See, we are trying to come to find a lot of different reasons to convince ourselves like this is doable. Even though those are like reasons are like silly reasons, like, hey, you can walk 8 hours in your office. Why can't you walk here? Like so a lot of different reasons. You haven't talked about. It's like going to work. Get up next morning, do something, and prepare. And you even though you don't like to do work, you still go, right?
I did not say that.
I thought I heard it.
No. What I said was you gotta have a working mentality to it, right? You just gotta wake up. What do you have to do today? Okay, I gotta run 26.2 miles. Okay, I wear my clothes, I wear my bib, I go show up, I have my hydration, I have my nutrition, I go do my run, come back home, eat, stretch, sleep, get up the next day morning, just do it again. So that is the mentality I was having. I was like, okay, what do I have to do today? 26.2. I wake up, get ready, go there, do 26.2, come back home, just get ready for the next day. Okay, we show up the next day, whatever we need to do. That's the mentality I was going with. So that was what I was trying to say. It's like a daily wake up mentality. It's like just that made it easy for me. That's how I was thinking about it.
Yeah, what I was trying to convince myself is like, as I said, like remember in like the rim to rim, we did like close to like 40 miles and then I slept for an hour. Right, like I said, like I said to these guys, like, hey, once we get to Phantom Ranch, we have 11 more miles. It's going to be like around 11 or 12 in the night, and we need to get there by like morning, right? I'm like, what happens after 3 hours if I give up? Right, I say I cannot move. I'm there, right? We'll be in the middle of nowhere, right? So our plan is like, let's go there. I'll sleep for an hour and a half, and then let's see how it works out for me. And then I was telling Muthu, is like, no, we have to go together. I'm like, no, it's easy. You guys start. And I will start like probably around sunrise, around 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and I should be able to get there by 11 because we need to get out by 12, right? So I was playing the same thing in my mind, saying that, okay, after doing 40 miles and I slept for an hour and a half and I still was able to do like the toughest 11 miles in the middle of nowhere with a lot of elevation, why can't I sleep for like, rest for like 15-20 hours and do 26 miles, right? Like that's what like it's all mental game, right? How do I convince myself that I can wake up the next day and do the same thing, right? So I was like, okay, hour and a half rest, I could do 11 miles on like a very tough terrain, maybe 15 hours rest, probably I will be able to do 26 miles. But again, I don't know if I could, but that's what I was trying to convince myself, saying that, okay, if I can rest, maybe my body will be ready to go, right? Because usually once a race is done, irrespective of the distance, I don't move after that, right? I just like kind of collapse and then like that's where I use Muthu's services and say like, hey, where is my drop bag? Where is the keys? Where is the car? Can you bring the car? I'm like, can you move the car to my side so I can just directly get into the car? He looks at me angrily, but he still does it, right? So, and this time I decided to do everything by myself.
You become a baby after that.
Yeah, so I do everything by myself, right? And Muthu is like, hey, my drop bag. He's like, no, I'll go bring my backpack. I will actually go bring the car. And Muthu is like, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he doing everything by himself, right? Because I want to test myself, like saying that if I can move after the run, then maybe I'll be good for the next day.
Yeah. For me also, right? So I want to take that first day as a very slow. I don't want to go overkill, and then I don't want to the position where I will not be able to move and then not able to do anything on the next day. So I wanted to go slow, but still that I couldn't control my edge. I still went ahead, and then whenever they are, because I need to come back to the same route where they are going out, right? Then they will say, why you are running so fast? You need to go there 3 more days. Think about it. Then I was, oh yes, we need to run the next day also. I need to control, and then maybe I'll slow down, but again somehow I'll pick up the speed, and then I'll go. So then. But I with that, slow down a bit. I was, able to complete around 5 hours something. Thing we did. When we planned for sub 6, I mean,
you planned for 5 hours and I planned for 6, but we both kind of bent over, right? You
you went for like 5:10, I went for 6:25, and these guys were only planning to finish the race, so they finished it. So only these people stick to the plan. That was the plan actually for this thing. One, not just to run the race and to experience like what's going to happen next day, right? So I kind of consciously told Arun that Arun, we need to slow down. Doesn't matter like whether you finish however you feel well when you finish today, you have to come back tomorrow and also do it again. So we don't want to be like just beat ourselves in the very first day. We don't know what's going to happen tonight when you go sleep because you get tight and then tomorrow it can happen, right? Slow down. So I slowed him on the fourth lap, like say, let's slow down. Forget about these guys, let them go. Okay, here they're always like this. Anyway, they're not listening, it's okay, go. We'll still make like sub 7 and then we'll make fun of this guy anyway. You're sub 7, I'm sub 7. It's just a 15-minute difference. That's the thing, right? No, that's different. We'll make it, okay? But take it slow, okay? So I pulled him down and then I took it slow. But that was kind of the point here, how we wanted to see how our body recovers for the next day. We never saw that before. It's all like one day event and the next day, even we say, oh, we are fine, but we never tried to go for a run and then run, right? Yeah. We can try to move, oh yeah, we are fine, we'll talk, and then one day later, oh yeah, we can run 1 mile, 2 mile like that, but not for a race that we have to go and compete and finish, right? That is the thing. So that we wanted to try and see how it works and then write down what works for us, to recover faster and then do. Like Krishna said, we followed something the first day and then we never changed it, okay? Eat the recovery food, right after the race, come back, do a stretch, put the video, do a stretch, all four, and then eat food. So kind of like going the same way, kind of followed up to the point like who goes to the bathroom first? The next day, you went first day, you are going again, I'm not going back. So don't change the routine, okay? You go start the car, I'll follow the car. So it's all the same copy we wanted to do. But yeah, we learned a lot of new things about, right? Like, after the first race also, and then coming back next. Yeah.
Yeah, the second day, the course, right? The course was, initially they said, the Utah course. The first day we all know that, okay, that's all. But in the second day, they said little bit hilly, that's fine. Maybe we thought, maybe it's not that much, but it's little bit. But, then we know there is a hill that we need to climb and then go down to the river and then see the first time. Only one loop, I think 3.25 loop. Where we can have the scenic river and all of that. They were saying, I don't know what scenic there, we don't know. But everywhere else is the same canyon, right? Every river
is scenic in Arizona. That's how it calls. The water is scenic. Yeah, they have a lot of canyons where there was supposed to be water, it was always dry. And that was the only place where there is a river and water in it. Probably that's why they're calling it scenic. Yeah, looking at the map on the GPS, like, I think we are crossing a river. Where is it? Like, there's no river on both sides. Yeah, then the map shows, Goku says like, it's a blue color. There's only brown. It's all brown. So the first day we went to Safeway to buy something. So we went to Safeway all the 4 days. After the race, right? And now is like, what do we have to buy today? I'm like, doesn't matter. When we go the first day, I'm not going to risk something on the last race just because we don't have anything to buy. I'll buy something. Right? Don't worry about it. What we buy, we'll buy something.
I think we bought water.
Water, like the last day, right? And then like,
tomato.
And then after we finished my race, I like during the race, I used to call my wife on FaceTime saying to show the terrain. She's like, okay, it all looks the same. I'm like, yes, it looks the same because it's like the same path. And then and that became a habit, right? Like, what struck with me the first day is like when after finishing my race, she's like, run like me. I was like, and there's a little backstory to that, right? Which I'm very mad at Arun for, which I never revealed to anyone. So she said, run like me, and it stuck to me, and then I started thinking, right, like this was in 2021, I was on very high, I finished like a marathon under 4 hours, little over 4 hours the year before, and I ran my first ultra, right, and my wife just started running, and then like, we were doing a 20 miler the day, and then like she was doing 10 miler because she was preparing for half marathon, and I was running with Arun, and usually at that time I was like little new, so he was to give like always good encouragement, saying like, hey, great running and all that. So when I saw him, he'll talk something about me, right? I was like preparing, so he will like somehow say something and I can feel all like, he said like, your wife, I saw your wife. I'm like, okay, like that was not what I was expecting. And he said like, it's her first 10 miler. She looks so fresh. She just finished it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is not what I was looking for. She's like, she's a great runner. You should follow her. Like, I cannot use some words which I want to use at him. And that stuck with me from 2021. I always want him to say I'm a better runner than my wife. And then after she finished her race,
You're on the camera.
yeah, and she told me like, just run like me because she finished her first marathon in 6 hours, right? But I said like, okay, I kind of brought into picture what she does after a marathon, right? I still remember, I just talked to her saying that after the first marathon, her marathon, I didn't do anything that day, I was just supporting, we came back, and she's like, what should I cook? I'm like, yeah, put some sambar and aloo fry and rice, right? And then she cooked, I was sitting on the couch, and she's like, should I call Coach Sada and Arun and say you are making me cook after running a marathon? And that stuck with me and said that if she can do it, I can do it, right? So I decided then and there, I'm going to cook 4 days continuously, because if she can run a marathon and cook without anything, and I'm like, we all had, like, they were helping me with cleaning, and they all had everything prepped there. So all we had to do is like, Nathan was like, okay, the vegetables are ready, the pasta is cooked, so let's mix them, right? And that was the plan. And like the first day I was cooking for everyone in like it was small dishes, and that's the same thing, right? And the next day I was doing fried rice. When we came back from Arizona Marathon, and Nathan is like, why are you cooking for each one of them? I'm like, because I can. And he's like, I'm like, okay. I was cooking single pot for each of one, and in my mind, everyone gets a medal, so everyone gets a fried rice, right? That makes no sense when you try to explain to someone when you are doing that, right? But in my mind, I'm like, okay, I don't want to combine anything because I want to cook for each of them because it's our own race. That means everyone gets a medal. So if Arun eats the pasta in his own thing, Muthu does it, that means everyone is completing a race. It's kind of become sentimental because small things can derail these things. So I was like, Nathan was asking me so many times, I said, no, I'm not going to make it for you. And he's like, can you make it for 2 people? I'm like, no, I'll make for each of you and individually, because there is like a stupid reason behind it, and it makes sense for me. It doesn't make sense for you, but makes sense for you.
Yeah, now we're talking about the Utah race. They initially the very little information the race gave.
Yeah.
One of the information is like the first one is Arizona, which is kind of first and last race is kind of like simpler one, maybe easier what they say. Not for us, when you go see that. See, it's hilly, but they said Utah will be challenging. It is the most challenging course, and then Colorado is the next to it. Then I said, like, Arizona itself looks like a little bit challenging for us. Then how it is the second one is going to be the challenging one among all 4. It is definitely going to be a pain. I was like, okay, and then they say like, you see that hill? Yeah, I hope you're not climbing that. Yeah, we are. You climb that hill, go down that side, come around, and then you come onto the valley, then climb up to the monument. It's like, okay,
Only 10 times.
You have to do 10 times. It's like, seriously? And then when you see the, our watches after the run, usually it will be like this, and this one is like this, and then like a sawtooth type of thing. That's the elevation it shows, right? Like, because of, it's too far one, and glad, plus the pathway that we ran also, it is not that easy one. There was like a very narrow path.
Yeah.
The other side is like, it just goes down the valley, and then this is like very narrow.
And it was icy too.
Icy at the
In the morning, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to give you some extra time.
I mean, the only silver lining in the Utah Marathon was like, I'm not a very good downhill runner, and Arun was like, wow, this guy is running downhill and says it's easy. I'll take that as
Seriously, that was the first time I saw him run downhill.
and that was like a huge compliment for me because I never run downhill like Arun. But yeah, the Utah Marathon was the most challenging because of the course, but it's also a mental game because like all the others are like 5 or 6 loops. This was like 10 loops, right? So overall it's still 26 miles, but as everyone like in the running community, it's all a mental game. When you're on loop 3, you're like, I have 7 more to go. So what does it count, right? Versus if you're in Arizona, if you're on loop 3, you're like, oh, it's only 2 more loops and I'm done. So the challenging part on the Utah for me was like trying to get over the numbers. Because I'm on my 5th loop, I'm still only 50% there, right? So I think that was where we all took like the most time to complete because it was a technical course. It was like, as Nathan mentioned, it was like a saw hill wherein you go up and down like crazy. And it was the number of loops was high. So like when you start taking your breaks because you're taking the, hey, for each loop I'm going to go to the aid station or change my clothes. So now everything gets multiplied by 10 instead of 5 or 6.
And again, the first loop we took like a lot of time, right? With the scenic place, then we took a lot of pictures, and then we were doing that, a lot of. That's where the Michigan ladies that
we met a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then like I think again day 2 at Utah ended with us going again back to Safeway
Yes.
and
it is.
then going back home.
Hey, that's where we met Cindy to get some massages.
Yes, and then
we need to mention that.
Yep, and then Muthu learned that massage really helps. And on day 2, you all
First time in my life.
you got a massage.
Yes.
And then we got
really.
the second day also.
Yeah.
We don't want to change that too. And that's the third day. So, yep, and one thing we all definitely stick to the schedule was we actually stretched because Arun and I are not big on stretching. Muthu is very good at that, but we all stick to we used to put this yoga from REA for runners. And then we
got a debate whether we need to go with the air train
this one. And then as Nathan pointed out, debating with me is a loose cause, so we went with that guy because I like her. And then we did the stretching, and then as Nathan said, the same routine of who goes to the shower first, come back, eat vegetable rice, and then go back to sleep, and that's the end of day 2. Okay, so we had 2 successful days of marathon. So we went home, everyone was feeling great, no major problems or injuries till then. And then any other good marathon, you always need a spicy story. Then comes day 3, and what better than have spice than for Mr. Sambandham, who always has an interesting story on any race. So yeah, we all decided that hey, day 1, day 2 were challenging, day 3 should be easy because they said Utah was the most challenging and Colorado was supposed to be the little bit less challenging than Utah. I would not say easy, but and then we were okay, and then we also had 2 things in mind because there is a trail option and a road option. We were should we run the trail or should we run the road, because we already did trail for twice. Should we say that hey, we want to do 50% on trail and 50% on road? But then like every other good runner, we decided to do the hard one, or at least supposed to be the hard one, and then we decided to go to the trail.
Yeah.
At least once we got into the car and started from home, we said let's do trail.
So we all wore a trail shoe. We show up to the trail run.
Right.
So we go quarter mile in, and it's going downhill. Downhill naturally, I go. I like going down. So we just walk around, and suddenly my knee starts tugging along. I go man, something is not right. So I call Nathan. I go Nathan, my knee is hurting, so I think I should just stick with the road today. And then Nathan says, yeah, then just go do road. And then Krishna comes along and he goes yeah, it's a good decision, man, just go do the road. But no, we never thought about how the road is going to be, right? It's 26 loops of 1 mile, right?
Yeah.
It's just half mile out, half mile back. And that was just mind numbing. But you can look at good and bad things in there. So the knee is hurting. It's not as bad. Sometimes I am able to walk. I am able to bend the knee. I am able to run a little bit. Sometimes I'm not able to put weight on it. And then I keep talking to people. I see this. The first day itself, we met 81-year-old. His name is Jim. He has done 2,400 plus marathons, and that is just amazing, right? Then we see this other lady who's her name is Angela, who has done about 1,200 plus marathons, and we all take pictures with them and everything like that. And then I keep running along with these people, saying hello to them and then joking around, and they're all very fun bunch. So it's so funny, right? This 1 mile loop is so nice. You just go out for half a mile, come back, boom, you're done with 1 mile. And the funny part is the guy who is sitting next to the timing belt, he goes Jack, yeah. He goes 5 done, man, 6 done, man. I go yeah, each and every time I see he just goes oh, 6. Wonderly, sometimes I'll go I know that I'm done with 8. I go 7 done. He's no, 8 done. Oh yeah, great. Thank you. Then I saw this one guy. This guy, he's pretty good. He's running, and then I go talk to him. He goes oh, my name is George, I'm from Georgia, I have done about 618 marathons, I'm 78 years old. And I go I'm trying to keep up with him. He keeps pushing me, right? I go man, what is this guy doing, right? then he goes like, I saw Nathan coming back, and then we went to the car. And then this guy vanishes. He goes half a mile ahead of me. I go like, man, I got to go catch that guy now. So I go catch that guy, right? He's like, he'll point his finger at me and go like, hey, you're not going to catch me. He always does that. So it was so much fun running with him, right? It's like when he takes a break at the aid station or something, I'll just go past him. And then the next time I take a bathroom break or something, he will catch me or he'll pass me, right? So it was just going back and forth, and other people are seeing this too. The other runners and everybody is seeing this too. Angela's going like, how long are you guys going to do like this?
Only 26 miles.
Then you come back next day and do it again.
But this one was so much fun because I'll just pass George a few times, or I'll see Angela, Jim. There will be people who can't even stand up straight, and they are walking like this all day long, right?
I saw
And then you go like, man, if this person is able to walk, my knee problem is nothing. I should be able to run, right? So we keep doing this, and then throw in a bit of Nathan coming and seeing you, Muthu coming and seeing you, Krishna coming and seeing you. It's so much fun. This was the most fun in a marathon if you can ever have. That was the best day of fun that I had on the third day. It was so much fun. By the time I finished, that's the first time I finished with my hands raised.
Yeah, exactly.
I never have done that before.
I took a video of that.
Yeah, it was just amazing. It was a great feeling for me. That especially going in there, and I still every day when I wake up, when I was coming in, I never had a doubt that I'll not be able to run. Right? It is coming out of the house. You go like, okay, today we want to do trail. Okay, we do trail. I just go in there. I wore a trail shoe, but I ran on the road all day long. It was just hard pounding all day long, but it was fun. That was a fun race for me. So
Yep. I mean, that's the impressive part, right? Like, okay, my knee is paining. Oh yeah, so let's do the easy one, run 26 miles on the road. I'm like, in which world do you tell a friend, oh yeah, your knee is hurting, both of them? Okay, then let's do the easy one. Run 26, still run the 26 miles, but I'll give you the easier option, run on the road. I'm like, and that's kind of the mindset you have, like once you start doing these things, right? I mean, like, so 26.2 is not an option, but the easier option, I'm like, I'm not sure in which world is it easy, because it's not like a nice road, it's all like with pebbles and everything.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you have the challenge of like 1 mile, and like, again, and that's the thing, right? Like, you have to make it fun for yourself, or you have to create your own enemy, or you have to create some like figure where you want to beat them, and that's the mental game, right? We talk about it's not like some thing like Arun was like, okay, I'm competing with like a 78-year-old and he's beating me, and that's the thing which he got it motivated, and like seeing someone who is like, hey, they are like in a worse shape than me, so I'm better, is what the mantra is, right? Like there is no like secret mantra there. It's almost like, how do you kind of motivate yourself and get that extra edge and keep it competitive, and the other person might not even know about it.
Exactly.
Sometimes like, and she's like, oh, we are competing. I'm like, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah, you didn't know that. It's only between you and imaginary you and me.
Yeah,
That
I
will
mean
happen.
that's one good thing about being in an ultra race where you get to see and be with people very long time compared to any road races that happens in a city. You just don't know like who's running next to you, right? But with ultra, you get a chance, you talk to them, you know about their history, just chit chat for a long time and all it goes. This thing is like 4 days, right? So first day, whoever you say, it's kind of like going to see the next day also, and then third day they're kind of like your friends go, hey, I saw you, like they start talking as if like they know you for very long time. The third day is like so much, and fourth day is like, you're going to wait for me, right? It's like, should I? Okay. Like if I go, hey, you wait for me, I'll be there. Okay, it's like, okay, friend, okay, thank you. I'll wait for you in the aid station, okay? That kind of became like that. But yeah, like Krishna said, we'll have a little bit of that competition, like I should be passing them, or like, that person should not be catching up with them, that tiny, and then like, oh, they're going to catch up with me, and then like, okay, I should be moving
little faster. Why are they running faster? They should be tired right now. No, why are they tired
right now.
Yeah,
That's
they should
what-
be tired. Why are they not tired? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
That's what happened with the third marathon.
Yeah.
I was lapping the Michigan ladies, like, you know, the second marathon, because like we slowed down a lot,
Yeah.
and then they kind of passed us, right? And then it's okay, leave it, and then that's fine. And then the third one, I was like, oh, running good, running great, and then like, so I lapped them in the fifth lap, and then like one lap before, just before finishing, I lapped them, and then I thought I lapped them, then I can just go on the downhill, and then on the valley part, they caught up with me. I was like, oh my god, now I should run. This is my last lap. I'm running my 26th mile almost. Now I should run or slow down. Like they're coming close. It's like, oh, I should run. Okay, let me run. So that kind of like indirectly motivated. And after some time, that I took I made a good gap, and then they slowed down. And like, oh, thank God they slowed down.
Believe me.
And you know, none of this really matters, right? Because they don't even know you, you don't know it, right? Yeah. But that's kind of the thing. Like, and what makes you the most mad is like when someone is running uphill, right? I'm like, the rule is walk up hills and
Downhill.
so I'm like, whenever you have this imaginary competition and you see someone running up the hill, and that's the most frustration you get, because you don't know, you don't want to run the uphill, and you pray like, okay, you are going to pay the price for this later.
That's where, right? You know, until third marathon, I was competing myself, right? But I don't have any imaginary enemies or, you know, competition.
Because you are running in the front. You should run in the back to see somebody to follow, to catch up with that. You are running in the front, everybody's chasing you. What do? You know, you chase your shadow maybe, you know. Like, oh, let me follow my shadow, okay. Let me faster than the shadow.
Yeah, but somehow there is one lady, the same Michigan group, the Kaylee was running, and then Arun was doing that, you know, the road thing, right? And then Arun, poor comedy with the Kaylee, don't let her finish before you. Kaylee, this is not for you. So
She was there. When I told you, she was there. I told her, make sure that she doesn't catch you. That's what I told her.
yes, he knew. Then that's where I picked it up, and then I was, just looking back her, and then whether she's coming or, as Nathan said, right, that, hilly course, she's continuously running. I was so worried that, how can I going to keep up with her? She's, so much energy. I never ever ran, seen that, the front runners, right? The front runners, they will be running, but it's okay. These were crazy guys, that's fine. But this lady, I think this maybe 5th or 6th marathon of, she started running, but she's continuously running uphill. I was even asked her, how much energy you have, running that uphill without stopping. And then, yeah, I can do it. Can I send some energy to this side also? I can keep up with you. Then, yeah, that's how it is now. Arun pointed me there, and then I was trying to chase her with, and then I was able to complete before her. I was keeping up with Arun's word. So that was my motivation for the 3rd and 4th day. That imaginary friend keep me going to get finished before her. That was so amazing. And the challenging part for me.
Yeah, but I think like the 3rd marathon is like, I think we all ran better than what we thought, because we were like, okay, let's lay everything on like today, because anyhow 4th marathon will take it very easy, slow, there is nothing to be done and everything. At least that was the thought process, right? Like, so I was actually running and Nathan was running and he's like, why are you running fast? I'm like, what is there, right? Tomorrow I'm going to walk, take it very slow. And then she's like, okay, that makes sense. So we started running, and then like pretty much I think our plan was like probably it'll take us 7 hours, but we like Mudhu finished in like under 5 hours. Me and Nathan like finished like little over, like I finished under 6, and then Nathan finished like couple of minutes over 6. We are like very surprised, right? Because we ran like, our plan was to take it like slow, and then slowly evolved into, no, this is the place we want to prove, and this is the play. The course was also like 1 mile was like downhill, it was all uphill, and like whatever like we were climbing up the Utah marathon, it was like the switchbacks are all like
Opposite
where we cannot run, because it was like Grand Canyon feeling. If you kind of take 2 steps extra, then you can probably don't have to run the next half mile because you just go tumble like
roll over in the hill.
No, it has its own challenges, right?
Yeah.
If you see the whole series has a challenge versus each course has its own challenge,
challenges,
whether it's going downhill or uphill, that the course is own challenge, and then mentally or physically we had to still run it, and then not everywhere it's like a soft path or anything. The rocks and everything, it made it, I can feel that my feet was hurting at some point. Is like, when we went in, I had my foot kind of like injured, but still I was there, I had to do it. And then when you go and pound these rocks, like, keep on going, there's always in the back of your mind like, man, like if I fall down, or like, is it going to hurt more tomorrow? Should I be pounding or just keep going in the flow, with the downhill and all, like we like to run. But when you see all these wrongs, it's kind of like challenging. And then also like feeling like, how to come tomorrow. That was the only thing that's always there, like, don't hurt yourself, because like you have to still come back. So whenever you try to go, and then like, okay, slow down, because then you have to come back. It's a different type of challenge that we never had before.
And then furthermore, right, with me, I'm just trying to keep up with her in front, right, in the there is a 3 wild horses on the last day, right? It came from nowhere. And then one is, one horse, big horse. I was trying to, beat her. I was just behind us, chasing behind.
You are trying to beat the horse?
No, it's coming to me, and then, it's coming for biting. And then I just ran back and waiting. It's not even moving. I'm trying to scare them. When I want to scare them, it's coming to me. Oh my God! I'm just going back. Kaylee is coming closer. How can I go again? Do I need to run this marathon again? Come on. And then luckily, just little bit, turned back, and then I just pushed it away. Although someone scared, and then it ran away. And then I was, I just told Kaylee, but she caught up with me at the time, because I was standing there for almost 10-15 minutes. It's not even moving. It's scaring me like anything. And then I told her, hey, there is some wild horse. And then she started taking a picture of those. And then I ran away, and then I finished it before. It was so nice, those things and all, it's all experience.
I mean, 4th day was kind of like, decided that anyway we did the 3rd day, 3 days done. 4th day we said like, no matter what, we're going to walk or crawl, whatever it is, we're going to finish.
Finishing is guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
When we start the 4th day was when we had smile on our face saying that today we will be done at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Because usually like when we start the race, it's like when you come to the start line, you are done. But this was like a unique race wherein we're like, so we are finished one day. So what does it mean, right? Like 4th day we had like a smile on our face saying that no matter what, by 4 or 5 today, we are actually done. And we don't have to run after this.
Yes.
So I mean, like 3rd day we came back, went to Safeway as usual, bought some bread and everything, kept up with the Som routine, took a soak with Epsom salt, did the stretching.
We had a nice, fried rice.
Yep. Looked at RA runner for stretches or whatever you want to call. And then like we went back.
I didn't notice the tattoo also,
On her. So on day 4 again the
You
challenge.
couldn't even tell what is written on it. I didn't notice. I thought it's some kind of an image, and he's like, I am cute. It's like, what? That says I am cute? I didn't even know. I thought it's some kind of a drawing.
No, I have been using that stretches for like almost 6 months, and I'm like, what tattoo? He's like, there. I'm like, oh, there is a tattoo? I'm like, okay. And I'm like, and he's like, no, it's a stretch. I'm like, okay, so you are looking at what you are looking, I'm looking for the stretches. So there's a difference there.
Okay.
So 4th day we started, and again the same question, right? It's the last day. Do we want to take the trail and kind of stuff ourselves versus like, do we want to take road? And Arun is like, okay, I'm not sure what you're thinking about road, but road is not easy, right? And then we had a change of mindset. Now we have to we want to do trail, but we have to convince ourselves like trail is easy, right? So I was trying to convince Arun, saying that, hey, do you want to do road because you know the trail, it's some soft like sand is there, so it will be easier. And we said like, okay, let's do trail, right? We decided, and we all said like, I said, let's do it in 8 hours. We get a half an hour early start because there are like some other runners joining. So we started 8 o'clock, so we should go at least till 4 o'clock is where we were kind of planning. And as usual, like every good plan, it failed on like 30 seconds into the run. What first loop? 30 seconds into the run, it failed.
30 seconds, this guy goes anyway. And then as soon as we start running, Arun is like, my knee. I said, okay, pull back. Come on, let's group together. Arun, Krishna, move over here. Arun, my knee is not good. Arun, you go road, we go trail. Simple decision, right?
Fourth day's knee problem was really bad because I could not even bend my knee.
Yeah, we could see you like,
I was
dragging the foot like a pushpa dance, I was like, why is he dancing? Did he see Pushpa 2 already? Did you see Pushpa 2 already?
I think like Arun's performance on day 4 is like one for the book side. We did not take a video. I told Muthu, he's like, I don't want to take it. I'm like, no, you don't want to take it to kind of make fun of him, but like it's kind of a service of motivation. Because to his point, right, like day 3 was like he was running, it was like almost like normal.
He's having fun with the jog.
Yeah, with the jog, right? But like day 3 was like every step was painful, right? And again, the beauty is you still only have to do 26 miles. And that's the thing, right? Like again, like I could see him like actually like only like walking on one feet and the other feet is just following him, right? Just because it's attached to his body. Otherwise, he would have fallen at some point.
As if like the entire body goes first and then the leg falls back. It's like slowly comes back. It's like, okay. And then slowly comes back. Like, why is he walking like this? No. The other thing is, I was finishing my first loop or second loop, right? When I was coming in, I thought like I will see you.
Second loop, yeah.
I didn't see you here. I was like, where is Arun? I should be seeing him somewhere, right? Because of the same place. And then suddenly I came to the aid station and then saw this guy was like in the massage table and Cindy was like working on him like this. Dude, what happened? Like,
So what happened
I was like, oh, I couldn't move my knees like this. Like,
no, what happened was Cindy is seeing me when I'm running, right? She is telling me that I'm not able to bend my right knee, and I told her, yeah, I know I'm not able to bend my right knee. You don't have to tell me that. So she said, no, come, I'll work on you so you can be able to run. I said, no, it's only 8th mile. I cannot just stop at the 8th mile. Let me at least go for 2 more miles. Right? The next mile, I went right, 9th mile or something like that. She said, no, you cannot run. I'm going to stop you. She called her husband. She took the folding table outside. You don't have to come into the
massaging
we
bag,
just moved outside. She just put the table outside and then she worked on me outside. Wow. And then I was able to slowly bend my knee a little bit. Then slowly I was able to run. Then around 15 and all I was able to run, and I was able to run till like 23, I think. After that I was still dragging my knee.
Right. No, I mean we need to talk about Cindy because like she's amazing person as a personality, and then as well as did great massage, especially the sports massaging. Not a lot of people know exactly like where to kind of like release for the runners. It will help runners. And I was telling her like man, like we tried very hard in our area in Maryland, Virginia to get the massages because like you have to book like a month ahead or like more than a month ahead, and you just here like doing it for us for free because because the race actually booked her, and then she was helping us like, oh, I mean people has to use me because like they could run better because if you get fixed, I mean it's a very good cause, and she was doing amazing job actually.
Yeah. After we got the massage from Cindy, both of us like every day our run we decrease the time, right? Like we did not get to massage on the first day. We got on the second day. The next day was a PR, and the next day was a PR.
I was finished and then I was waiting, and then Katie told me, hey, there is a massage if you want to go and get it. And then that's where I went there, and then I had the hip flexor issue where after running 5-6 miles it will come back, and then it's very horrible experience with running with that experience, right? And then immediately she asked me, and then she fixed it. I don't know how magically it went away. That's the first time I got my massage. Maybe it's my destiny to go there and then get this release. I told her, and then she don't care. Hey, it's fine. So she asked me how to fix. I mean, why that is coming, how to how she fixed it also. So that is so plus to be meet her and then be there to and then that's where if you see all third, fourth and all, I did better.
I think we did better because of the massage
yes,
also.
absolutely.
Because first day we did only stretch.
See,
second day was challenging.
All of them, just 4:30, that's all done. Even though that's she was so happy to see again and again. So I'm thankful to her.
Yep, like I mean, fourth day was like good, and then like we finished, and then once all of us finished, we pretty much like we were planning for an 8 hour, but everyone was done like within like 6 or 15 minutes, and then came the photo shoot. So we just spent like the next 1 hour like for the photo shoot. And especially here it's all better because we have 4 states and now we have 4 people, 4 combinations. So that was the fun part.
Yeah, true.
exactly.
It's very nice.
Each of
actually.
us have our own medals for each state.
Each day,
Yeah, Colorado. It's
Each of
probably-
us got all 4 of these medals because we finished all 4 of these marathons.
Yeah,
And then I was wearing these 4 medals for the next remaining part of the journey.
Yeah, wherever we go, it was making so much noise.
it was like cowbells, like ding, ding, ding. I was like, where is Krishna? Let me hear. Okay, it is that side. Where is Krishna? Where is Arun? Like, I hear some bell sound over there. like, oh, it's coming close to us. That type of thing. Yeah, it is good.
And then
Yeah, the race was organized very well actually. It's a very small race and conducted at a place called Navajo Nation, area. And then
Tom also we need to talk about. He was so supportive. He's coming. Every time making sure runners are well fed and all those stuff. He was behind us always. He's he was there right there whenever we need him.
I mean, we could relate to us because like here in Team Ames, what we do is kind of helping others in kind of
Exactly.
like getting into running slowly, teaching running in a proper way, and then getting them as a lifestyle, right? And then when we learned about Tom is kind of like he moved to that area to kind of teach running to the kids and school kids over there as in the Navajo Nation area, and then they conduct these kind of races to promote the races in that area, and then plus healthy activities around. The 4th day they were having the fun run also.
Exactly.
For the kids and the moms, they were just coming and walking a little bit of area while we were running. So it's good to see that too. So it's kind of a relate, and then like we took some sample products from here, like from our side, and then give it to Tom and then give it to the runners. And I mean, we kind of like did it in a last minute, and then maybe if we go next time or somebody, we can do it better. So because like it's kind of the same thing what we do with Team Ames too, because we not only run our own run, we also wanted to help others running, and then make sure they kind of like continue going and then be the friend, right? So
the most important part of day 4 was they have something called Navajo taco, which is very similar to our batura, chola batura, but that was the amazing part. And they were serving it as we go. And
One of the things I want to talk about the race itself and the race director before we move on to a different topic, right? The race director was so laid back. Okay, so when you even go to the beginning starting line, you could feel the vibes that he's just so laid back. Any race when you go and start, you are so nervous. What's going to happen? This person has not even told you the course yet. So you have no clue about the course, but you're still so laid back, you're just so happy. Oh, everybody is just having fun in the cold, shivering. And he's talking for 5 minutes, 10 minutes about something else. Not even about the course yet. So I thought the whole vibes of the race was really good.
yeah, and he forgot to give the race directions. I'm like, what about the course? He's like, yeah, we have that one more that to talk about. And he's like, what about aid stations? He's like, oh yeah, I didn't think about it. That's a good thought. Let me think about it. I'm like, okay. And I was asking him about the next day.
yeah, I mean challenges. Do you have think that there are any challenges that you think that other than your knee issue that
So technically the knee issue was the biggest challenge for me, right, per se. And but the mentality that I was going in with, I think talking to all of you prepared me very well. And the mentality is, one is, we know for a fact that we can do this. That's kind of the mentality we went in with. I think everybody were aware that we can do this thing. It's not like we are going to face any issues. We did come across issues and we know how to fix the issues. We have done, like the stories we hear about you doing the Armstead, where the third mile you're having to look for a stick and do your own massages. So with that, we knew that we can overcome any issues that we come across.
But the problem is we cannot find any of the stick.
Find a rock.
That's only rock over there. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, as soon as we went there, I think I was the only one having some of the altitude problem. I guess, like I said, like, am I gasping when I'm talking? Like, because I felt it.
Yeah.
I was on a call and then like, talking, and then like suddenly I had to take a breath like that. And then like, oh, why is this happening? It never happened. As if like I just
ran something, but this was the previous day. And then altitude, and then like the beet juice and all kind of helped it. And the next day, as soon as I came, that was in my back of my mind, like, am I pushing myself? And then like I always watch my heart rate, like, I mean, is it too much? Why is it not going down? And then I ask you guys, like, my heart rate is this much. Is it okay? Like, is it okay to be like 100 or 90 or something like that? Because it's not normal for us to be after the run, like an hour or two after the run. And why is it still long? Then I was like taking some breath work and all, like seeing like, okay, let me calm down, because it is kind of like, I know I'm stressing my body a lot. I mean, the stress meter is like in orange all the way. And then like first day, and then second day, third day was like, oh my god, this is like, okay, it's so good, but it's a lot of stress that we put our body through actually. So
Yeah, I mean, I did not face any like specific challenges during the run. It was all about like the next day,
what to eat,
and then making sure that
These guys are fit well.
yeah. Yeah, and the fun part of the race was like when Arun had knee pain and I accidentally tapped on his knee and say, how are you feeling? And he's like, okay. Now I get the answer. And he's like, okay. And Muthu is like, how do you know the answer? I'm like, you want me to show it to you again? Arun is like, why are you experimenting me on me? So I realized that if I want to, I used to say to Muthu saying that, hey, if you don't listen to what I say, I'm going to tap on his knee. And Muthu is like, Arun is like, I'm like, okay. And that's how like, you're kind of playing kids.
For me, the fun part was running with George. Oh my God, it was just so much fun. He was entertaining too. It's like he'll always just point his finger.
Whenever I'm seeing him in the loop, he'll say, "Hey, you are there. One more down for you." That's how we'll encourage. That's so good with him. Yeah, that's so nice too.
Any fun moments for you?
I mean, for me, fun moment, there's a lot.
I know
But
you were
actually,
cheering with that Michigan ladies, that Bonnie and another one.
yeah, we were running back and forth,
yeah.
and we were making fun of each other. Like, you crossing, hey, stop, you are my guide person, Like the first day, I was like,
okay, this is the funniest thing that we heard, right? So Nathan is trying to make a joke, right? The first loop, right, when we come across
third
that
or fourth
valley.
loop. Fourth loop, we were like, yeah.
Big valley there. So he's making a joke to these other two ladies saying that, hey, I never saw this when I came here the previous time. They go like, oh, this way you got to concentrate on where you're going. Right? That's what they say.
They say that you need to pay attention to the road.
So we come
okay,
back, right?
teacher.
We come back. There used to be a truck there where you can go straight, but the course turns.
Yes, exactly. You need to go a little
But they just keep going straight. Now I was like, hey. They go like, why are they calling us? We said, of course. Oh, sorry, okay, they come back here. And then again, there is another turn. They missed that turn and they kept going somewhere else. And then
I'm shouting again, like.
And then they go like, our guides are all back there. They haven't come and joined us yet.
Yeah.
So
They started calling us like, the guides on the trail, because like, hey, my guides are back, or they'll be coming back. Hey, come on guys, let's go, type of thing. Yeah.
It was so good.
So people ask like, why do this crazy things, or like, hey, why do you have to do 4 marathons in 4 days? Or like, I mean, it's like to see how much you can push yourself, your body without breaking it, right? It's like, what is your limits, right? So I see like once I do a marathon or any race, like irrespective of the distance, it's a mental game, right? Like once I cross the finish line, you start to like, your body starts to pull back and you feel that, oh, you did a great thing. And then the only person I look up to is like Muthu, right? He recovers like very quick, and then they usually ask him to drive at the end of the when they're finishing the race. So for me, this was a unique challenge. I'm like, how would I train myself to run after the break, right? Like, okay, how would my mental state be? And then it's not only just like the body, right? Like you have to be the right mind to say that, hey, I have to run 26 miles again on day 1, day 2, day 3. So, yep, like there's no like any inspiring, but once you go to the place and you see a lot of people, like I was running with like a 65-year-old, and she was actually pretty much ahead of me all the time. And then like we were kind of trying to keep up with her, and then she finally beat me. And I'm like, she's 65 years old, right? And she lives in Florida. And then she's not used to this kind of a weather. So you don't go with inspiration to these races. You actually come back with a lot of inspirations, because you see people, and then kind of it again level sets you, right? Like gym who did like 2,300 and plus marathons. I cannot even do the math in my mind. Like how to do those many things. So like people are like, what inspires you? I'm like, no, I actually go and come back with inspirations rather than go with an inspiration there, right? At least that's what I feel when I go to this kind of like hard and unique races.
Wayne, that's the thing about these races. They humble you, right? Like they make you have to. Otherwise, you think that, I'm a runner. I've done this. I've done that. You go there. When you come back, it's like, man, like, yeah, I still have to put something. So that's always the case. When you come back, yeah, maybe I have more thick to get. But that's how it is. But good that we are doing these things. For team aims and for other people also to show what can be done, and that's another thing that we are learning, and we're kind of like teach others, and then just basically explaining them this is what we did and what we're doing, and exactly. I mean, for me, it's kind of the I would say inspiration, and also why I was motivated, especially on this one particularly, that my whole year was, yeah, as you guys know, like, it started well in Shenandoah preparing for MMT. And then suddenly my foot issue comes, I was basically limping on my left foot when I went into the Amstead 100. And then I couldn't make the MMT. So that was a break for me. And then I was like a few months of break, not running. And then when I come back, I was skeptical, like, will I be able to run normally that how I used to do it before, because I'm used to that 1 foot, like like a limping type of a thing for a very long time, right? Luckily when we ran the Erie, then I didn't pick it up, and then I just were able to at least do something. Then okay, I was like confident. But this one, when I went in, I said like, we really have to do it and then complete it, and then take as much learning as much possible, so that like we cherish it, and then we kind of like teach others too. So it's really important for me to also reassure, because last year 4 states also, when you did the hike, I had to stop in the middle because my back started hurting so badly, and then like I don't want to continue, right? So that means like it was a little longer time that I had to say, okay, I make sure that I don't screw this up, and then I still want to be doing it, and at the same time I'm seeing that what I can do more in this thing. As like you said, yeah, we wanted to push without breaking ourselves. So that is the kind of the thing that you wanted to see, where you can find a place like, okay, I'm not pushing too much, at the same time, like, you still wanted to complete it, not like say in the middle, like, okay, I'm just giving up my go. Yeah.
For me, right, for the inspiration, so Arun's bucket list is our bucket list anyway. So that's how we go with that. And so that going, as I've seen the new place, for me, it's very motivational. And then, going with you all, that's one of the treasure for me in my life, right? Then another side is my running. See, running and then the flexibility of maybe for that, both are kind of, a family or, husband and wife, right? So you cannot just have only one. It has to be the combination where, you need to have that, the balancing, right? The yoga and runs, it should be, perfect combination. So that's where, Krishna is saying, how you are recovering, right? So that helps me. I do yoga a little bit. Thanks to the Sri Yoga, who's introduced me into the yoga. So that is the one. Other people need to do this. With the little bit surprisingly. Thanks to that, and then also, so there is nothing need to worry for anybody who want to start running. Just try it out and then see for the better health. So that's our mantra for doing the better health. So that's all we need. And then also, thanks to this amazing coaches with me, and they will carry like me the child, right? I'll just go crazy. I don't need to worry about anything. Even I don't have to take any food. They will take care of it. That's it.
Love you now. Why we have to bad too, like but just can come with the carrier, because he still have to make sure that he's enough food and I'm the start. Hey,
I'm very sure he eats sometimes.
it was he does. It's maybe the racer like it.
I'm so blessed out there. I don't need to worry about it. I just go and enjoy my run, and that's all my thing. I'm so thankful to them. I'm so blessed to be around there with me. So Thank you.
Thank you. What are we telling the new runners? So I have this day, Suresh, right? And with the day.
So one of the other things that I want to talk about, what you talk about, is we learned a lot, right? We learned a lot even in the backyard ultra. Why did we do the backyard ultra? To learn more, so that if somebody comes with that kind of problem, we can tell them how to address the problem. Same thing with this one. If you come across this kind of scenario where you want to do five days, 5 marathons, we can tell you what you can do for 5 days, 5 marathons or something like that. I always come down to one thing that I want to tell everybody, right? If I can do it, anybody can do it. I always ask the question, why not me? Why not now? That is a question that I always ask. If somebody talks about something and they say that you cannot do it, that means that I am doing it. That's the easiest answer to any question. It's like the first time I had a mind goal of 137 for a half marathon. The starting line, I was coming up with reasons why I cannot do 137. One person looked at me and he goes like, you won't be able to do it, man. I go like, yeah, I'm doing this. Yeah.
And I did it. That is how I did it. Not somebody to tell me that I can do it. Somebody to tell me that I can't do it. Really, then I know that I'll be able to do it. So that's what I always tell people, that never stop yourself. Never stop dreaming of what you want to do. One of the biggest mistakes that I did was when I was in 2nd grade or 3rd grade. That's when TV was first introduced into Chennai, right? They showed Boston Marathon. At that time, I told myself that I'm going to run that race. So now I have an extra thing in there that I want to qualify and run that race. So that's why I tell people, never stop dreaming. If you want to do that, put it into your list and have at it. Go for it. And then you can do it. That's what I usually say, sir.
Yeah, people are like, okay, like for anyone who wants to start running, right? I mean, like you can see, right? It's like it's not like we have any special training or we have been training for this from like childhood, right? I never ran as a child. As I told you, right? I never ran ever until I came across and then like it started as, and people are like, why do you run, right? I mean, real serious reason is like, because I want to eat a lot, right? And I'm like, oh, why do you run? I'm like, it has to be a balance, right? I cannot eat a lot and not do anything, right? And then like, like burn a lot of calories. And then like every Saturday, I try to run at least a half marathon and I go home and I probably eat more than that, right? But like the challenge is like, that's my motivation. I'm like, if I want to keep eating and I'm like a food connoisseur, I'm like very picky and I want to eat, and like you have to do some balancing act, right? You cannot have it only one way. So my real reason would be like, I want to eat. And then in order to get there, I always run. And that's the entire idea, right? It's not like before or like any super train or we have special coaches or anything, right? We just learn of each other. So just take the first step, right? That's the important one. And then like probably you might have to like 50,000 steps to get there, but at least the first step is always same for all of us, right? And like as Arun said, like I tell everyone, like if I can do it, you can do it, because it's not like, oh, I've been like a supreme athlete or anything from my childhood. It's just like we all started running like well into our late 30s, early 40s. So some of us might be very young, and then like the examples we see at these races where we bring back like an 80-year-old, a 70-year-old, and that's where you draw the inspiration from, right? Like everyone is like a normal person doing like a day job with a family and kids, and they're still able to do it. So your body is built for that. Whether you use it for that is up to you. And that's what I want every runner to take and say that take the first step, build your dreams, and then you'll definitely put in the hard work and training. It will follow.
See, I mean, that's why program even teammates as like, the so far to 5K, for new runners or beginner runners who never ran anywhere before and then they wanted to start running, right? And anywhere in the world, anywhere across any place, they'll have such groups or teams or anywhere like people can start running just by walking first, just by walking slowly and then walking and running, mixing up with that. Even in our groups, we see runners finishing marathon just by doing run and walk intervals, right? It is not always just running. People, new runners, sometimes like, they don't want to get into this thing because like they're scared of running, because they get out of breath, they couldn't run for a long time. So no one is asking you to run when you're out of breath, right? It's all about like, how you can just move a little bit, one block slowly, and then you can talk. That's what we say. It's a conversational pace, right? You run at when you're talking. That's all. If you cannot talk, don't run. Slow down or walk, right? And you can do it. Anyone can do it as a new runner. They can just keep going. and then follow the program, follow coaches or follow fellow runners who are done before, and then try to run. So anyone can do it. Yeah.
I have one other thing to add, right? Where I say I want to tell people that do something that you're afraid of doing. Okay, the first time I wanted to register for a 100-miler, I kept the registration site open for 4 months before I clicked on registration, because that's scary for me to do that. And once I did that, then I got I got to show up for the race, and unfortunately, don't be afraid to fail. Okay, I failed at 37 miles. My hip flexor I acted up that I could not bend my leg of the hip, and when I was climbing up the mountain, I was pushed back because I didn't bend knee. So I got okay, my race is done now. So don't be afraid of doing something new. Try it out. As long as it doesn't kill you, you're fine. So that's one thing that I would say.
Get medical advice too, right?
Yeah.
Like, make sure that, you go to your physician and check your vitals, check your numbers, once every year. So that gives a base, and that at least use it as a motivation to start running. And as well as making sure that, you're on the right fight.
Plus about having fun. You run, you can do a lot more fun things like this.